Hello and welcome to Mum CEO. I am absolutely thrilled to announce that we have a very, very special guest here. And her name is Veronika, and I'm sure a number of you have heard about her incredible journey. And she is Miss Ukraine's for 2018, and she is a women's activist, and she is the founder of the campaign NGO, The Right to Be a Mother. Welcome, Veronika.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, so much, so much was said. Thank you. Very glad to see you and to look forward for our incredible conversation. Hi,
So, so
everyone.
So, Veronica, first of all, what we would love to know is obviously you've been doing great work in raising awareness around the world about the campaign of Right to Be a Mother. And it would be very useful for the audience who are listening to understand a little bit more about your journeys and how you came up with the idea and what gave you the impetus to set up the campaign Right to Be a Mother. So please do share your journey with us.
Yeah. So I won Miss Ukraine pageant in 2018, and then I was disqualified because I'm a single mother. But I stood up against unfair rules and archaic rules of Miss Ukraine and Miss World beauty pageant. And I launched my campaign, Right to Be a Mother, to change these outdated rules which discriminate against women based on their marital and maternal status.
And so it's
Now,
it's really it's to change the unfair rules of
yeah.
beauty pageants. But do you feel that maternity-based discrimination it happens across most industries, or do you think it's something that you felt was really just for the beauty pageants?
No, discrimination against mothers, like at work, has already been even recognized by Equality and Human Rights Commission as a considerable problem. And this problem also exists and potentially to an even higher degree for those who are self-employed, working structure that is common in modeling and many other fields, including TV and media. So these are also fields with a high level of sexual harassment, lack of visibility, access, and equality non-compliance. Beauty pageants like Miss World provide much of the pipeline of talent in the TV and media industries. That's why my campaign aims to challenge and change what has, become accepted behavior across these industries.
Miss World is a huge platform. I think the last one I read the stats, it was watched by over 900 million people. I mean, it's absolutely huge. And so I think you're quite right in saying that actually the campaign, although it's really focused the right to be a mother on on Miss World, it has a
Yeah,
much more sort of broader appeal because actually women face discrimination across all industries. And as you said, that a lot of the talent pipeline for the
yeah, yeah.
pageants go on to other parallel different areas such as modeling and acting and so forth. Now, do you think that, apart from the maternity-based discrimination, what about body diversity in beauty pageants? It also seems to be missing. And what are your thoughts on it? Because the recent body diversity that we're seeing on catwalks and advertising campaigns, should it also be embraced by, the largest beauty pageants out there? Because, all of the women tend to be, of a certain body shape, and do you feel that it's also lacking in terms of the diversity that we're seeing in the fashion industry and other areas?
Yeah, absolutely. Beauty pageants should celebrate all women, regardless of their size or marital and maternal status, also. And, pageants are becoming more progressive. It's not all about girls in bikinis anymore, definitely. For example, Miss England launched a no makeup round to celebrate natural beauty, and Miss Lancashire swapped a bikini for a wetsuit in the Miss England final. In Miss Ukraine, we did not have bikini part also.
Okay.
So it's a good, yeah, it's a good progress. My own motivation for entering Miss Ukraine in 2018 was the opportunity to seek financial support for my own charity project, Young Einsteins, which aims to support disadvantaged children with a natural aptitude for mathematics. But overall, it's still sad that this inclusivity still does not extend to mothers or women who have been married. But we're working on it.
There's obviously all kinds of discrimination, maternity-based discrimination being one of them, but also there's discrimination against women who are divorced, because I was reading in the news that Miss Sri Lanka requires women to be married and not divorced. And so, what do you think about that? I mean, did you follow that story with interest? What were your thoughts?
Like it's definitely a huge shame that the recent media coverage of Mrs. Sri Lanka focused on the infighting between two female contestants instead of focusing on the real issue here, like that these outdated rules continue to define women in terms of their relationship to a man. And many believe that beauty pageants have like no place in society today, but I definitely believe that inclusive competitions can be super empowering for women, especially those from underrepresented backgrounds. When Angela Ponce de Leon won Miss Universe Spain, she talked about it as a victory against transphobia. And when Diane Rogers won Miss Universe Great Britain, it was celebrated as a recognition of Black beauty. So winning a beauty pageant is also like an incredibly powerful platform for further professional and financial success. And these global events have launched careers of many, many contestants.
I mean, what I don't understand is, if it's a beauty pageant, if it's about beauty, what has that got to do with motherhood and marital status? It just seems as if the beauty pageants haven't evolved. I mean, is their idea of beauty sort of stuck in the 1950s, that you have to be married? And I mean, it's absolutely, for me, it just seems as if it's some sort of outdated
bizarre.
platform.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's so shocking. I mean, do you think they're changing? Do you think they're beginning to understand actually the current, zeitgeist, that actually is unacceptable? Are they listening to the criticism? I mean, do you feel that your campaign has made them think? Have they changed? I mean, what's your thoughts?
Beauty pageants definitely should change and make a change, and I believe it's really possible with if we take a collaborative challenge, like from pageant franchisees, sponsors, contestants, and public who tune in to watch these competitions each year. It's possible to make this change happen. And already 25,000 of people have signed my online petition to change these archaic rules, which definitely don't reflect the role of women in society today. So I'm sure there is a chance. It's just a matter of time when it's going to happen.
Who are the power brokers involved in these pageants? I mean, you mentioned that there's a whole ecosystem around, these pageants. It's, it works because there's sponsors, and there's, and there's all sorts of, income coming in. I mean, are the people behind the pageants men, or actually, is it a gender diverse, industry that is run by men and women? I mean, who are making these decisions?
So it is. Answer is, there is director of Miss World right now. It's Julia Morley. She is founder since beginning, since 1950s. So they, with her husband Eric Morley, basically wrote the rules for beauty pageants. But with the time, some rules has been transformed. For example, in 1930, Black women were not allowed to take part in any beauty pageant. And with time, the rules transformed. In 2015, transgender women was allowed to take part in Miss Universe. So there is a positive progress, and all of the whole my campaign is informational. It's we aim to inform people about that rules are exist and they are here just near you. So the more people know it, the more people are against it, and to really hope that Julia Morley will take step forward and make a change.
And Veronika, obviously in 2018, you won Miss Ukraine. What was your personal experience going through the process? I mean, I've never been, to a beauty pageant. I always sort of felt perhaps that, do the winners and the contestants end up being surrounded by, sort of being forced to go to events where there's all sorts of hangers on, and perhaps does it attract inappropriate men in its orbit, and does it put sort of pressure on the women contestants? I mean, what was it like for you going through the process?
For me, winning Miss Ukraine was a chance and platform to develop my charity project, Young Einstein. So the whole my work on Miss Ukraine was to develop the project. I got I had good experience because we got apart from my project, there are many social initiatives which Miss Ukraine as well as Miss World are trying to fulfill, and it was the reason why I participated. So many of girls who participated with me, they got a possibility to launch their careers on TV or on radio, or they started doing acting. So overall, it was good, despite of the one of the major problems like rules, which then played not good role.
Instead of staying silent, you decided to speak up and create this campaign and speak to the media and so forth. Did you experience resistance? Did you experience criticism, online abuse? How did the global media respond to you? Did you find generally people were supportive or just a bit dismissive? I mean, tell us about your experience when you then moved into the activist side.
Yeah, my campaign has been supported very positively by the global media, and I'm so thankful for that. I've received hundreds of messages of support from women and men from all over the world, so who also believe that beauty pageants should change these outdated rules and need to move with times. Otherwise, they face being, banished, the dark ages completely.
So I think we have the 70th anniversary of Miss World coming up. How hopeful are you in terms of the impact of your campaign, Right to be a Mother, will have? Do you think that actually the 70th anniversary will be a good time for Miss World to actually evolve and listen to the public in terms of, what they feel the pageant should embrace, i.e., motherhood, and whether somebody is married or divorced, it should not have an impact upon their ability to win and retain the crown?
Yeah, I think the 70th anniversary is a key milestone for Miss World. It's a great opportunity for the organizers to position themselves as a representative and modern institution. Otherwise, it risks being labeled as a throwback to the 1950s, which bears no resemblance to women's roles in society and the family today.
Have you had any response from them when you started, talking to the media about it, when you started, the campaign? Have you had any response or dialogue from them? What's been their stance?
Unfortunately, They don't respond. So basically, they ignore what's been happening, the whole media pressure, like campaign. Um, More than 300 media outlets wrote about right to be a mother. Can you imagine? It's like it's worldwide like impact. But Julia Morley still staying silent. I hope, really hope that 70th anniversary will help us and we have a good strategy for it.
Do you still feel that the platform Miss World is still relevant in today's society? Do you think that it detracts from feminism, or do you think actually it is something that is good for women?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Uh, if the rules are changed, it is an amazing platform for all of the women, and it have helped to launch careers of many women across the globe. Like I don't want to name all of them, but so many celebrities who we know right now took part in Miss World or Miss Universe beauty pageants. If it's inclusive, it's great. It is amazing. They just need to move with times and celebrate all women equally. And honestly, I don't understand like what is it literally what is the problem? What's the point? Like what's wrong with the organizers or like with people who just keeping those rules? When I had before scandal in Sri Lanka, it was a huge scandal with a Miss Ireland beauty pageant. And the girl refused to take part in the Miss Ireland final because she found out about the rules that if you're a mom, you cannot take part in it. She wasn't a mom; she was a nurse, but she was shocked and she wrote to me or to the director of Miss Ireland like how it can be possible, why do you still keep those rules in 21st century? And they said that it's rules are rules, and if you're not agree with them, you should better not take part in it. And this story was covered by all of the Irish media and all of the people in Ireland. Like I gave few interviews to some radio stations, and all of them were just super supportive. They were like, "Oh my goodness, how it can be possible? Why those rules are there, how they could not allow a girl participate when she's against those rules." And such a response from people, I when I see it and I feel it, I know that if changes will come sooner or later. I believe it's going to be soon. And then when the pageant is going to transform, it gives you amazing opportunities. For me, it was opportunity to develop my social initiative. For others, it could be like TV careers or something else. But it's a great pageant. Like around 900 million of people watch it every year. It
Huge.
creates such a huge influence. It's massive.
Well, why don't you think we have a pageant for men, or perhaps there are, but they're not viewed by 900 million? What is the fascination with women and beauty?
Um, what is the fascination? Do you mean why is they attract women so much? Yeah.
Yeah, because for instance, if you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
why not, why isn't there a national beauty pageant for men? Why is it just for women? And if there are for men, it's obviously it
There are.
hasn't got the same traction, right? It's not something that, really people are familiar with. So why women?
There is a beauty pageant for men. There are many of them, and as I know, one of my friends he's a man. He took part in Mr. Man. I don't know his name, but it is
Yeah.
very popular. It's
But
popular
it
in
doesn't get
Asia.
the 900 million views, I imagine, that the women's pageants
You
gets,
know,
right?
yeah, but I'm sure it's tiny audience because he's super popular right now. Because if you're in modeling, it's like in modeling world, there are many male models,
Yeah,
and some of them are really really famous and popular. So I know this guy, he
yeah,
created an amazing career in fashion, so he's like top model after
yeah,
winning the
yeah,
pageant. So but they are popular. About why it's not as popular as women, it's a good question. Like, I don't know, but I know many people from this
yeah.
industry, and who took
I
part.
mean,
Lots of my friends took part.
yeah. But as you said, it's also similar in modeling that actually, if I say to you, can you reel off, I don't know, 20 famous female models, most people can just reel them off. But for male models, it would be, so it's just interesting, the sort of gender play when it comes to sort of beauty, the beauty industry, be it beauty pageants or modeling. Now we've been talking about your campaign, Right to Be a Mother, and of course you have had tremendous media traction with media outlets around the world who've been absolutely fascinated with your story, and I think they've been also fascinated with not just in terms of what happened to you, but also how your resolve to stand up against the pageant and actually build your campaign around your NGO, Right to Be a Mother, and be unashamed about it. Have you also included in your activism, dialogue with the companies and the brands that sponsor the pageants? Because of course you try dialogue directly, and they're just ignoring and pretending nothing's happening. Have you thought about working in other areas in order to influence the outcome that you're looking for? What's your
Yeah, you just read in my mind, because for the 70th anniversary of Miss World, we're planning to connect with 70 women's rights organizations and create a petition for changing rules. Also, if Julia Morley refused to change these archaic and horrible rules of the beauty pageant, we are going to reach out to all of the sponsors of Miss World, saying that funds that they are investing in Miss World, they just supporting archaic and just role of the woman from the dark ages. They cannot support this in 21st century. It was our plan for the developing strategy for the 70th years of Miss World.
Wow, so there's more to come, which is very,
Yeah,
very
definitely.
exciting. And so,
Yeah.
again, we've been talking about Right to Be a Mother, and you are indeed a mother. You have a little boy, um, and he is 6 now.
Yeah.
So does he know anything about what you've been doing? Do you talk about the work that you do? Tell us about that.
He's 6, and his name is Alex. So he's proud of his mom.
Yeah.
And from very young age, he has traveled the world with me on my modeling assignments, and that provided him with a very rich and varied education beyond the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And my hope is that he will grow up understanding and truly respecting gender equality, which I'm sure he will.
Wonderful. And Veronika, do you think that's, from the beauty pageant's perspective, that one of the reasons that they felt, that they could justify having a bar on mothers was because they felt that, did they actually respond saying something along the lines that actually the reason why we do it is because how could they possibly take on the duties of being Miss World in terms of the level of travel involved if they have children? Was that the sort of thinking that they were coming out with to justify their position?
Like, do you first think when I which comes to my mind after hearing such a ridiculous nonsense response, like are you serious? Like, don't you think the same? I'm sure you do. You will definitely like feel the same, because how my professionalism, how my career is related to my opportunities and responsibilities to be a mom. Firstly, like, parenthood is not a sole responsibility of a woman. It's first thing. And secondly, there are so many women around the globe, like Jacinda Ardern or Serena Williams, who are successfully balancing their careers and parenthood. And it's, when I hear this, it's such a ridiculous excuse to me, because I can manage it all, and it's up to me how I'm balancing my career and parenting. I hope Alex like will grow up in the world understanding it's not only like, you know, mother's responsibility to raise a child, and it's really possible for a woman and mother to be successful parent and CEO, for example. There are so many just amazing examples, yeah, of it.
Yeah. I mean, I was quite shocked when I read it, actually, because I travel a lot for work. I also have a young child, and I travel with her. And you know, this thought of the world being binary, that you either do not have children and therefore the world of work can open up to you, or you have children and then automatically, you know, anything that involves travel or, you know, is automatically shut. And it's such a ludicrous position to have, because women all over the world, you know, be it whether they're working financial services, they're working in the modeling industry, they're working like myself in the communications industry, you travel and it isn't an issue. So it's quite a lame excuse, I think, and I'm surprised they haven't been ridiculed and called out for that excuse as much as I thought they would have.
Yeah, why don't say the same to men, to the CEOs, men, like I don't know, actors? You never ask them, how do you have 3 kids? Are you sure you want to take this job or do this movie? Like, no one asked this.
It's extraordinary. And you know, while I'm sure, you know, the itinerary is incredibly demanding, you know, when you become Miss World, but you know, I mean,
as any other job in the world, you know, it's demanding as any other job of any other person.
Exactly. And you know, like here in the UK, we had, you know, the late Margaret Thatcher. She had 2 twins. She had twins, a boy and a girl. And she, you know, throughout her political career. So if somebody can run a country and have young children, then I'm sure that, you know, a woman can also, you know, be Miss Universe and have children. Absolutely extraordinary, that thinking. Now, obviously, you are a mother, you are an activist, you are a CEO. What's the reality like of, and you travel an awful lot, what's the reality like of juggling the work that you do, the social causes that you're involved in, and being a mum? Because, you know, from the outside, obviously, everything looks wonderful, but what's the actual reality for you? Or is it actually for you, it's quite easy and juggling, you know, all these different aspects?
It's a good question, and I think it's the same for men and women. There is no, as I said, there is no difference if you're a man or if you're a woman. You're juggling your career and your parenting. You should do your work at your best, and no matter which sphere you're working at. Being banker, politician, Miss Universe, Miss World, like nurse, you juggle these responsibilities and you try to do everything as best. Of course, as every mother, as every father, as every parent, like we fail at something, we learn and we do it again, but we try our best, and women can amazingly balance it.
I also think that you're incredibly brave, Veronika, because you know, a lot of people actually, they would have been quite scared to stand up against, you know, a huge organization, and they would have just, you know, been upset and just walked away. What gave you that inner strength to do it? And were you scared, or were you just angry and you just thought, you know what, I'm going to fix these people? I mean, what went through your mind?
Oh my God, I'm so grateful to you for this question. Like it is an amazing question because not always I mentioned it in the interviews, but it's something which is just incredibly important just for me because when Miss Ukraine disqualified me, I was very upset. And at this time, I had my modeling career. I lived in London, and I thought, okay, I don't want to stay in Ukraine anymore. I'm gonna leave and go back to London. But what happened is I started to receive like 100 messages a day in my Instagram from women all over the world who was saying like that I'm like a role model for them. I was like, "Oh, what? Why?" Because they say you can work and you can be a mom. Wow, it's so amazing. Like, and we can't do that because we are forced to stay home with our child because of the same discrimination on the workplace when you cannot get a job. And when I wrote all of these messages, it was literally hundreds, like thousands of them. Like, and when I was reading them, I was crying, and I was like, I just can't leave them like that. I can't make those women think that they can't be successful in their careers because of the just archaic and ridiculous rules that Miss Ukraine or any other organization like Miss World or anyone else can establish. And it was the moment when I realized that I'm gonna stand up against it, and I'm gonna not gonna leave it like it is. And thanks God, at this point, I got amazing friends and my team, and everyone was so passionate about this case. And firstly, everyone was passionate that took part in Miss Ukraine, and everyone was supporting me, and they were so happy. But when this disqualification happened, they said, "Yes, we need to take steps to cancel those rules." Definitely, all of my environment was super amazingly supporting, and I'm so grateful for it because now I have a big social initiative like Right to Be Mother. It's NGO now, and we have such a great impact, and I really hope that in the nearest times those rules will be abolished.
So, you know, Veronika, we're so excited to watch what happens next. We know obviously there's the 70th anniversary. We know that you are a woman who does not give up, and you are fighting for the right to be a mother, that women do not have to apologize for being a mother, for giving life to humanity, but they should be respected for their choices, whether they choose to be a mother or not, and it should not have an impact upon their career. Any last words of wisdom? There are a number of people who are listening who are obviously going to be inspired by what you've done, and inspired by your strength, and your activism. Any last words of wisdom for those who are listening who perhaps face challenges in their life where they also have to stand up to some injustice, and it can obviously be a scary place? What words of wisdom would you give?
First of all, I have 5 tips, you know, to be to keep shape, like moral shape all the time. You definitely need to be outspoken. You definitely need to be open-minded. You need to do your job like outstanding. You need to be outgoing and very optimistic with any of your job and any initiative. And I always carry the words of the late and just genius Ruth Bader Ginsburg with me. She says that fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. And this is the same spirit I want to embody in my campaign, Right to Be a Mother.
That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. And Veronika, for people who want to know more about what you're doing and who want to reach out and help and support, how would you advise them to contact you?
They can just visit my Instagram page. I'm on any social media, so you can just Google my name. There are plenty of my contacts. There is my email, LinkedIn, my Facebook, my Instagram. So any platform they are comfortable with, they can use to contact me.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, thank you, Veronika, for being our guest today. And most importantly, thank you for continuing to fight the injustice on behalf of women around the world, because it is important that people understand that there is still a long, long, long way to go before we get gender equality in this world, or anything that remotely looks like it.
Yeah, thank you for taking this interview. It was a pleasure to speak to you. You were just reading my thoughts and some questions which were not in questionnaire, but you asked them, and I'm so grateful to that you did it. Thank you.